Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Now before we get into what we're going to do this episode, I figured I would apologize for making these Kerbal Space Program episodes so far in between. Usually when I stop doing an episode, I'll fool around on Kerbal Space Program for, like an hour or so, just trying to further my knowledge on what I can do in this game. And since then, I've kind of gotten my bearings with regards to orbiting and somewhat getting to other planets, most notably being the Mun at the moment, which is the Kerbal Space Program's moon. So for this episode, I figured instead of trying to put a person into space, I would try and put a probe or, a satellite, to spy on all those nations that are up to no good. So I built a couple satellites in my day, back then. So I figure I do have a mod installed at this point. I was trying out some different mods, and apparently it's like some Russian mod that introduces these really ridiculous, these ridiculously sized rockets. And yeah, that's just something we have in the world now. So let's see what we can do here. I like this Stay Putnik Mark II. It's a nice little small pod that seems to do the job pretty well, although it is a bit awkward, putting on stuff. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we want to use a big guy like this. Wait, is this a big guy or is this a big guy? Are these like the same size? Hang on a second. Which one is the real deal? Are these just like all the same sizes? Dry mass 111. I guess these are the exact same. Okay, I guess we'll just switch it up this time around, just cuz. Alright, let's just start anew. I don't like having all this crap around here. Oh, I guess I can't do that. Never mind. I was just kidding. Alright, so let's just start with one of these guys right here. And since we're just doing a basic orbit around the planet Kerbin, it's not going to be that difficult. We just have to get this thing into orbit at a comfortable, like say 160,000 feet. So let's just put oh boy, that's a bit big. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Now let's just put some science on first, just cuz. Okay, so we're definitely going to want to have some battery packs so this thing can be powered, with its solar powers and all. Solar powers, yes. Panels, there we go. Okay, now I always like having the Gigantor ones. These things are always fun to put on there. It's like, why are you doing this? It's just a boy. But it's always cool using these things because they just expand so cool. And boy, oh boy, does it look like a real deal type of spacecraft, or satellite rather. Alright, so let's see what else we got here. I reckon we ought to use ourselves a nice little antenna to make it look legit, or too legit to quit. So this guy right here usually makes it taps all the phone calls. It's got a radius of about 3,000 miles, and I don't know, it gets those calls. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's just see what else we can do. I reckon, I don't know, I want to have a little body to the spacecraft, but then at the same time having this little guy up there is probably all that we can really do. I don't really like having empty spaces, so can we put anything else? We might as well just put another battery pack on there just so it's not lonely. Just there we go. Because we're just going to leave this thing in space. It's just going to spy on enemy nations, all that stuff. It's not going to be a big deal or anything. We're just going to keep it on the DL and let it go. All right, so let's see. Once we get into orbit, we really won't need an SAS stabilizer. So let's see. Let's just get some propulsion on this thing because we'll need a second stage in order to get this thing up into its sufficient orbit. I think this is oh, that's a bit that's a giant fuel can right there. That's what that is. All right. Oh, that is not going to work. Is it these solar panels? It's probably not going to let us do that, is it? Let's just work that out after we've gotten the parts on, so then everything will look nice together. Okay, so you like a nice little family photo. All right. What's this thingy? Oh, that's a big fuel tank. And I say I've been messing around on this game and I have no idea which fuel tank to use. Yes, that is me. Alright, so I guess we might as well just get this guy on here with a nice little small engine. Here, hang on a second. What am I doing? I know there's a different engine I can use for this. Oh, goodness gracious. I apologize for fumbling like this. I'm usually more prepared. Alright, what's this guy? Oh, that's too big. Alright, can we just use this little jet fuselage? Or... goodness gracious. I'm gonna have to cut this part of the video, me just fooling around. Alright, let's just see if this guy works. Okay, I feel like I'm missing some of my parts for whatever reason it may be. Am I? Huh. I reckon I've got everything I need, but okay, I think this will work. Okay, so we've got this nice little thing, and then this will need to decouple. Okay, so once we have this thing into sufficient orbit, we won't need this little back part at all. So we can just put a nice little decoupler right here. That is a bit big for a decoupler, I reckon. All right, here we go. And can we just put this thingy on? All right, there we go. So now this will be moving on to the main stage so that we will be able to get this thing, once it's in space, we'll be able to decouple, but we have to get into space first, which is what this stage is going to be primarily for. Alrighty, so let's just stack up 2 of these engines right here with, let's see, I think that I always like this engine. It's a good one. 200 power. Oh boy, I think these mainsails right here, or they're a bit too big for the job. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. It's looking like a formidable spacecraft. I mean, we're just putting the satellite in orbit after all, so this thing doesn't have to be all prim and proper or anything like that. All right, now let's just put some radial decouplers. Now I found these guys to be extremely helpful, and I don't know if I used these last episode. However, it's like a really nice alternative to being able to like not having to have these things on a separate stage and decouple with the decouplers. However, we can just drop them as soon as they are not needed anymore. Okay, so let's get some fuel lines in there because these guys have proved to be extremely helpful. So when these things run out of fuel and they run into the central tank like so, is that not working? You will get in there, sir. Here, let's zoom in right here. Let's just take a look at these fuel tanks and make them cooperate. All right, is that gonna work? Maybe. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. So we've got these fuel lines in here, and just for the sake of aerodynamics, let's just put on some nice little caps up here. So are these under? Oh, we're under. Okay, aerodynamic, and these little blue caps right here to make the thing look all nice. Okay. Now, I don't really think we'll need any supports, like some support struts. I don't reckon that'll be all that useful. So let's just do one last quick pre-flight check. All right, we've got our engine in line, this decouples, and this is launched. Might as well just have this in the same stage. So then that decouples. Wait, hang on. Let's see. Decouples, fires, and then this guy should be good. Now, I don't believe I have an SAS module on this guy right now, so I think that'll be a helpful adjustment because this thing really helps the it's the inline stabilizer. And I don't know. Oh, we almost forgot to put on the what are these thingies called? The solar panels. That could have been, oh boy, if we ran out of power to, you know, like stop spying on nations, this whole operation would come to a grinding halt. All right, so we only need about 2 of these guys, all right? I believe so. Okay, so let's just, oh, that's on the 3 mode again. Please just go to 2. As soon as I touch it, it goes to 3. Okay, I reckon we'll only need 1. But in order to be like a proper symmetric spacecraft, this thing's gonna need like 2. Oh boy, this is getting bad. Oh, here it goes. All right, so let's just put on these guys like so. And I'm not sure if this is under control or not, but we're going to need like an RCS thruster. All right, yeah, here we go. All right, so we've got ourselves some thrusters. Let's just put these on here. Now, I believe to activate those, we need a little tank. Actually, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we don't really need it all that much. All right, so I think this is a proper spacecraft right here. So let's just type this in. Let's just be like the Spytron. That's Spytron Mark 1, because, you know, we're all proper with our names. So Spytron Mark 1, because this guy is going to be picking up all the radio signals. You know, just to make this thing look even more legit, like too legit to quit, let's just like put on 3 communitrons up top over here so that we can extend these guys, and they'll be like, oh man, I'm tapping those phone calls out in Afghanistan. Someone's ordering some milk from the market. Oh, terrorist threat. And then we'll go in and get them, because that's how modern satellite spying goes. You know, we got to relay it back to the NSA, and they are probably observing this video right now. They're like, oh, they're onto us. All right, so Spytron Mark 1. Yeah, this game always, whenever I launch, has a tendency to lag for about 10 or so seconds, so I just cut that part out of the video. Okay, so just to do one last flight check right here. Oh, wait, hang on. All right, so this launches, these decouple. Let's just move those around just, you know, for the sake of it. All right, then this decouples, this guy goes. All right, let's just turn on our stabilizer by pressing T. All right, here we go, guys. Throttle's already shifted up, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so Spytron Mark 1. This guy, he's going to be spying on all the sovereign nations. Going to be picking up all the phone calls, receiving all the emails, and even relaying some GPS signals just for that occasional Bugatti out in Dubai. Boy, there's a ton of Bugattis out in Dubai. Who am I kidding? We're going to need several of these guys. All right, so I've learned a little bit. So the last time I played in episode 2, I thought that as soon as we hit 25,000 feet, we hit orbit. However, now we can see right here how there's a surface, and it'll switch to orbit when we're actually there. But it's because my momentum was, I was still going out into the atmosphere, so I thought I was in 0 G's at that point, but that was obviously not the case. Now, I've learned from a couple tutorial videos that I've been watching that around 10,000 or so feet, you're going to want to start tilting about 45 or so degrees, like so. We're getting a bit out of control. Let's just put on the stabilizer. All right, so that stage is done. All right, now our second stage kicks in. Oh, yeah. So once we get to a suitable 35,000 feet, by that time we should have ourselves in a nice good orbit. Okay, so we press M, we can access our map, and this orbit is expanding. That is fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see. All right, so once we get into this vector right here, we'll be able to expand our orbit very well. Okay, so we're hitting almost 25,000 feet, which is a good place to be. We're almost at 700 meters per second. That is going to be fantastic because the better we can secure an order, the less adjustments we have to do while we're up in space. However, we're only on our second stage right now. So this guy's about half out, and I think, yeah, on this tank we'll definitely be able to get out of orbit, and I don't even know if we'll need the last stage for anything. Unless, of course, we want to bring back this the satellite just to make sure there has been no viruses uploaded to it, or someone hasn't tried to throw a pellet at it, or a pellet, yeah, because you can throw pellets into space. So we are in a secure orbit. Let's just take a look at this plot right now. All right, so this is expanding very well. We are like, I'm not sure, this looks like Africa kind of. I know this planet is Kerbin, but it looks kind of like Africa. Whatever. All right, actually, you know what? I might be able, oh, just kidding. I was about to say we should be able to get a stable orbit off of that, but that is obviously not the case. All right, let's blast off one more time. Oh, wait, I don't think I have fuel for this. Oh, wait, that's a fuel tank, right? Okay, great stuff. I was about to say, no, we totally jacked up, guys. I didn't mean to. All right, okay, so let's just see. 80,000 feet, and we've almost, I believe on this fuel tank we should definitely be able to have a suitable orbit. Now, I want the orbits to be at about like 150,000 feet, and that is way higher than it needs to be. Okay, hang on. Let's cut the engines real quick. And, oh man, that I pressed T instead of X. Okay, here we go. So this should be suitable, and this will close our orbit a little bit is what I'm hoping. That is not happening at all, is it? Okay, so once we have a full orbit, I'll make the necessary maneuvers in order to compensate for this like big gap right here. This just big part of the orbit that probably is a bit unnecessary here. Let's just conserve on fuel. We're hitting about 2,500 meters per second, and that is a pretty good little lens for what we're up to at the moment. Okay, so wow, we are definitely going to need a maneuver to close this orbit, and I'm actually not sure if this is going to work entirely. Now, I am not an astrophysicist, as I'm sure many of you know, so my maneuvering is obviously not up to par. I don't know everything I need to know in order to really be sufficient at projecting orbits and everything like that. However, I am trying my best to learn, so all of you astrophysicists out there, please just give me about 5 or so episodes just to get my bearings completely. My goodness, what is happening? Okay, hang on, cut those engines. Whoa, cowboy. Let's try and add a maneuver right here, and I believe tugging on this guy backwards will help us out. Is there any way I can circularize this? Oh, that is not happening. Oh boy. Okay, let's see here. Oh boy, this is already turning out to be a bit bad. Okay, actually, you know what? Can I try something real quick? Let's just see. Now, I'm not very savvy on this whole orbiting system quite yet. I believe I'm actually going to have to close the orbit myself by heading down a bit. Here, let me just try something. Good thing I saw this SAS module, or else I would be in a bit of trouble. Alright, so as we currently plot, let's just try and boot up one more time just to see. Wait, do I not have any more engine power? Oh no, I do. Okay, good. Alright, so let's try booting up once more, and that is not helping. Actually, you know what? Oh, wait, I know exactly what to do. Okay. So this little plot right here, this is to head forward, but on the other side there is a cross to help us head exactly backwards. So that should help us compensate and close the rest of the gap in the orbit. So let's try. Oh boy, oh, I had to press shift while I'm over here. Okay, let's try, guys. I don't even know how I press sticky keys. I only press like shift once. Okay, Oh, that's closing the orbit. Okay, so that is definitely closing the orbit, but we want to make it less bad. This is a difficult process. I should not be failing this poorly. Okay. Let's see. I did in the test world. I did a satellite that had like a really good looking orbit, and it was like looking great. And I was like, "Yay, I'm doing great." And now I'm not doing great, and I'm not impressing any of you, which is not my goal. Okay, so let's just put on the engine one more time. We may have to do this launch again, unfortunately. This is closing the orbit, and it's kind of... Oh, wait. Hang on. Wait, if we can get like enough momentum out of this guy, this last engine here, we might be able to fix this. Oh, dang. Did we do it? Oh, we were so close, too. Oh, so no way I can fix this? Oh, dingle ding. Okay, everybody, so I had to abort that flight, unfortunately, and it started raining outside pretty fiercely. But nevertheless, I have made a slight addition to the spacecraft, the Spytron. Let's make this Mark II because this is an update. Okay, so I have added a second fuel tank, and I still have the same engine on it. So if we do, in fact, find ourselves with an ill-judged orbit, we can fix it. So hopefully that will be the case, and we won't have any bad issues like we did last time. So in order to fix that orbit, I think I had to like kind of aim myself into the Earth, you know, to compensate for my shortcomings. But let's just take a quick look. I always like switching around this engine right here. Decouples, fires. All right, great stuff, guys. So 3, 2, 1. And so goes the Spytron Mark II with updated fuel support for the out of orbit or the in orbit adjustments. Okay, now these solid fuel boosters, they do go rather quickly, which is unfortunate. I don't know if it would make the aircraft, or the spacecraft rather, too heavy if we were to add a second set. But it seemed like we got into orbit sufficiently without having a second set of these, so hopefully that is the case. So let's see. These solid fuel boosters usually secure me through to about the 10,000 meter point, where I'm able to start curving my orbit. Oh wait, I should probably add some fins. That's probably why my turning isn't good at all. Okay. Well, that might be something for the Spytron Mark III if we do in fact get to that point. Alright, so let's just drop these guys. Oh, this is getting bad. Okay, let's just try and fix this as best we can here. Alright, that was a bit of a screw up right there. It's okay though. We are safely right above the Kerbal Space Program center. Alright, and we are getting to just about 500 meters per second. Now, I don't remember, I think in the last flight, we are able to secure our orbit right when this fuel tank was ending. I think we were like trying to make the necessary maneuvers in order to get everything working functionally, and then we were a bit spedunked when our fuel tanks here ran out. But hopefully that won't be the case again. So let's just see. We're at about 25,000 feet. We're about halfway through the fuel tank. So I think so, because we're moving a whole lot faster every second. So I believe we should be able to get in orbit sufficiently. Yeah, okay. So once we hit about 35,000 feet above Kerbin's atmosphere, we should be hitting its orbit, and then we'll be able to have a super fun time. So let's just watch. Will that hit orbit in a second? All right, great stuff. So we are sufficiently in orbit, and let's just pull back on the throttle so we don't waste too much fuel. We don't want to be wasteful. Okay, so let's just see here. Let's just add a maneuver as soon as we drop our fuel tank here. So let's just get the last out of this guy, throttle him up for one last hoorah, and there we go. Okay, so now that we are 52,000 meters above the surface, let's see if we can't make our necessary adjustments. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold back on that for just the time being. All right, so let's just get right in our velocity vector. And this should be working out fantastically. Okay, so let's just throttle up here, shall we? Okay. Let's just kind of keep this throttle a bit lower. We don't really need to be moving all that fast. We're going to try and conserve as much fuel as possible. Okay, so let's just see here. Oh wait, I didn't mean to make that accidental note. Is there any way I can remove this? Can I just press escape on it? Oh no, I don't want to do that. Okay, so I think we're at a bit of a better orbit right now. So we're not orbiting yet, of course, but let's just see what we'll be able to do. Okay, so let's just stay right in that velocity vector. It'll make things a whole lot easier for us if we manage to stay within that vector. Alright, so let's just, wow, look at it. Kerbin looks really cool from up here. Now, where was the Space Center? Was it down there, I believe? Oh boy, we have hit ourselves a lag spike here. I believe going under the spacecraft makes things a whole lot easier. Okay, so, and then we're actually forming ourselves a nice orbit here. We are not nearly there to making the orbit complete in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if this fuel tank will last us to that point. I mean, we're not even halfway through it, and the orbit is, I would say, a good 30% complete here, where I'm just encroaching on the dark side of the Earth at the moment, where there is currently not time, but nevertheless, I believe in myself. I believe in my astrophysicist abilities, and more than anything else, I believe in the Kerbals back home. Okay, so it seems like this orbit right here is getting kind of fat, but it's kind of like evening out as it goes around to the dark side. Alright, so let's just see. I'm still having a bad lag spike. Okay, hang on. Let's just throttle back as I move into the velocity vector. Alright, come here, sir. Alright, there we go. Right at the center of it. Jesus, SAS module is so helpful. Alright, so, oh wow, this is actually this is going to be a very high altitude orbit, I believe, but we can make the necessary maneuvers in order to even it out if we do in fact feel that is just. We're at about half fuel at the moment, so I reckon we'll be able to fulfill this orbit, and, oh wow, we're almost there, guys. Okay, yeah, it's really fattening out. I don't like that at all. Okay, please just finish the orbit out. It's going to have to be like above 60,000 feet in order for it to be a good orbit before it starts. So I'm coming back to Kerbin. Alright, it's starting to form right there. Alright, and let's cut these engines. And I think the only other way to even that out is to go completely backwards. But let me see if there's not a way I can just like circularize it here. Is there any way I can do that? Oh no, there's no way. Okay, we're just going to ignore that maneuver, and let's just move to the complete opposite side of our nav ball and go back here to the side with the cross. That should fire us backwards, and let's just go full throttle here and try and even out the orbit. Okay, so now that we're going back here, okay, so once we get this to, let's see, this is too high for a sufficient orbit. Let's just get about a 500,000 feet, and then we'll cut. Okay, and 600,000 is fine. Okay, and now I believe to re-encompass ourselves, we need to flip to the other side and then start launching. Oh wait, no, hang on. Let's try going this way, just to like even it out. Okay, and you can just tell by my vocabulary, I'm very savvy with my astrophysicist terms. Let's just go this way, and oh, this is not working. Boy, I don't know how I did this so well the first time. I was like, hey, I can do this. And now I'm just like, Alright, so let's just throttle up completely. And yeah, this is just going to be a fat orbit. Goodness gracious, this is not looking good. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix this. Here, it's just like a better way I can do this. No, because then that just makes it really awkward. I'm still throttling. Ugh, I just want to make this a good looking orbit. It's not working. Here, can I like, why can't I add in a maneuver? Excuse me, I'd like to add in orbit, please. Oh boy. I'm going to like go back to the training camp on orbits again because this is not working out really well for me right now. Here, let's just try throttling up. Just see if there's any other way I can, you know, make this a better or less terrible orbit. Because right now it is gosh awful. Oh no, please work. Yeah, it's just gonna be fat on this side though. Here, wait, what if I try and like, oh, dang nabbit, there goes our last thingamajigger. Okay, so that is not going to work very well. Oh man, it's back to the drawing board, unfortunately. But we can get into space sufficiently. I'm just going to have to relearn all of my satellite stuff. But thank you guys very much for watching this episode of Kerbal Space Program. I will try not to be so much of a failure in the next episode. We're still going to stay with the Spytron Mark II because we don't really have to make any necessary additions other than, you know, getting the orbit straight. But once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.